So Roxanne, my understanding is that we're going to be spending the next 10 or 15 minutes just exploring, playing with the idea of you attending AA meetings, with the idea that you had felt that this potentially may be a way for you to not only go back to work, but be successful with your work and be able to maintain that job, which sounded like it was fairly important to you.
Oh yeah, I can't lose that job. I mean, I have worked since I've had a social insurance number, and that's a long time ago. I'm 50, 51. I'm not going to lose that job. I need that job. That's my retirement plan. I need it. And I don't like that my workplace it's like they got a spy, like they're watching to see, are you going to come? Because I work as a machinist and I can't mess around, and I know that. And sometimes I'll have something to drink, take the edge off a little bit, and then I'm running out to the car and getting some more. And yeah, so I can't lose that job. I know that. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to go to those AA meetings and sit around with a bunch of people either. So, but
I'm hearing a couple things here, Roxanne. It sounds like right now, like your drinking is a coping mechanism for you, that supports you in taking that edge off. So you have found one way, to cope, with some of those stresses in your life. At the same time, you're also expressing some concern over potentially some safety, because you're saying like it's maybe not good to be drinking, because you're a machinist. And you're also recognizing that there's eyes all over the place in that workplace, and they're not letting you get away with nothing.
that's right. Yeah.
And I'm just curious if you could talk to me a little bit more about some of the key benefits that you really see to potentially looking, at going to these AA meetings.
Well, I guess the benefit of going to these meetings would be talking to people who also have been drinking too much, because I know I drink too much. Even my dog knows I drink too much. This is not a secret. The problem is, it sucks when you're around people who don't drink too much. I don't know anybody. I'm not around people who drink too much. I come home, I drink by myself. Just sit with my dog, and that's it. That's my life. And I'm just think if I was around other people who are drinking or were drinking, I guess they're probably trying to be sober, which I want to be sober too. But so I guess it would be good just to be with people who get it. It's nobody. If you're not doing this, you don't get it. And that's.
So there's this sense of being able to go to a safe place, where people understand you, where you're feeling genuinely accepted for what you're bringing to the table right now, and that's that you're drinking too much. And they get that. They understand the road that you've been traveling down.
Yeah. And not everybody's story is the same. Like, there's going to be some people who are businessmen. There's going to be some people who are homeless. But the point is, we all got the same thing in common. We all are drinking too much, and we don't want to be. So we are going there. And so it's the thing that equalizes everybody. You're all on the same plate. It doesn't matter if you're a judge or a doctor. You're drinking too much, you're right next to the homeless person too.
Right. So there's this recognition that there's a diversity of people that will be in attendance, but you're all in the same boat, headed in the same direction together, and that's towards sobriety.
Yeah, I guess so. We're all heading there and we're all swimming upstream, trying to, like I can't put another person on my back. I mean, we're all swimming upstream. It's all our own, you know, path, but we're all swimming up the same direction. And some of us are paddling harder than others, and some of us have been paddling for only a day, and some probably have been paddling for 20 years. And I'm kind of interested in meeting people who've been able to quit drinking, because I haven't been able to do it.
It's almost like there's this sense of hope when you're talking in terms of like how did they do it? How did they do it? Like, it's almost like this curiosity that's coming from you in terms of you're saying how did they do it? Or what abilities are they tapping into that are giving them the strength to keep going upstream?
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing about that, and just meeting people that have been clean, and didn't like, I mean, every day, like I know a bit about AA, sort of, I guess. You go and you have to admit that you're an alcoholic, different stuff like that. Like, I hope that I'm not going there when I'm 20 years sober. That I hope. I want to go for the beginning if I go, but I don't want to be sitting there for 20 years talking about this. I just for a little while.
You're looking for a jump start.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be every Wednesday, every Monday, every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday. I'm at my meetings. I want to go to the meetings at the beginning, get some sober days, I guess, but I'm not going for a long time. And the thing is, problem is, if I do go, everybody knows if you don't end up staying sober, and then you're just starting over. And that's the part that bugs me. It's like, oh, okay, I've been sober for 7 days. And then you go back 2 days later and you're like, I've been sober for a day. I don't like that crap.
So you don't want to get caught up in this cyclical nature, where you're kind of in that boat that just keeps spiraling around in a circle, almost like a rowboat. You're going around and around and around. You only got one oar.
Yeah.
You're wanting to get some consistency in the days that you're sober.
I do. And I don't want to go to these meetings and be the one to be like, yeah, I got 1 day. And then, you're there 4 days later. Yeah, I got 1 day. And it's like, if that's the case, I don't want to be there. I want to have something good to say.
Yeah, you want to tell a success story.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say, I've been sober 7 days. I've been sober 11 days. And if I feel like I can't say that, I don't want to go, because I don't want to be the person who keeps failing.
And I'm hearing that loud and clear, like Roxanne, that you're wanting to be able to stand up in front of those people and kind of feel like you got some wind under your wings there, that you got to say. I'm curious, Roxanne, like earlier you had said that, one thing that kind of attracted you to some extent about going to AA meetings is that there's people from all walks of life coming together as one and sharing their stories. Some have been sober for a day, others potentially a long time. And that what was kind of cool about it is that it didn't matter what walk of life you came from, you're all in this journey together forward towards sobriety. And I'm curious, I'm curious to hear a little bit more from you in terms of, like, what do you think some of their experiences have been like in terms of going to these AA meetings on their journey to sobriety? Like some of the people that have been there a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah. I guess I can't have a beer right now. Oh, well, I bet their journey is that they probably had some stops and starts, you know. I bet they did. I bet it wasn't all every day, you know, oh, this is day 7, this is day 11. This, you know, like probably didn't have the best start either. I suppose it would be unrealistic to not, like, because I haven't been able to stay sober.
Mhm.
I don't know, probably I was 15 the last time I was able to do that. So, I mean, I probably will have some stop and starts and they probably could relate. Yeah, I
Mhm.
guess that's true.
So
Yeah.
you're you're recognizing that there potentially would be a level of acceptance if you have some hurdles to kind of get over on your journey.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's that they're going to accept, they're going to have acceptance because they probably went that way too. But I don't know if I'll be able to accept it.
Right. You know, you're nervous about that, right? You're just you're it almost sounds like you're wanting this so bad that you know, it may be upsetting to you, you know, if you have some setbacks. Uh,
Yeah, it is. I know. You know what? I don't want to screw up. I don't want to lose my job. Like, I feel like I should have started this a long time ago and then I wouldn't have got to this. But right now, I feel like I'm being squeezed. And if I mess up once, everything is going to fall apart. I don't want that. And so now I just want to have all these days sober, but that's easier said than done. And so it's either go and I don't know, it's going to be hard.
it is hard. It is going to be hard. You're recognizing that, you know, that this is, you've got your eye on the prize. That prize is maintaining that job. And, you know, I'm curious, like Roxanne, like to hear a little bit from you in terms of like when in your life you've potentially, you know, had a hurdle, you know, a transition, a change in your life that you were making that you were a little unsure if you were going to be successful, yet you experienced success in moving forward with that change.
Well, I mean, I've had hurdles all my life. That's all I know is hurdles. Um, I've scaled walls that are probably 50 feet high, never mind a hurdle. Um, I work as a machinist. I'm the only female as a machinist in the whole company. The rest, there's other ladies there, but they don't work as machinists, you know. So I went into a field that people don't go into, and you know, at least at that time in those years. I mean, sure now the females are machinists nowadays. There's not many, but there are, but not at the place that I work. But you know, I did this way back when that wasn't cool and there weren't other ladies there. So I had to work with a bunch of guys that, you
Hmm.
know, don't act very nice. They don't talk nice. They don't act nice. Um,
It, it really sounds like you went outside your comfort zone. You know, you were successful in blazing a trail ahead, you know, in terms of a field that just wasn't the norm in terms of when you entered into this industrial field that you've chosen. I'm curious, Roxanne, you know, what are some of the skills and abilities that you tapped in to in order to be able to kind of blaze that trail?
um, well, you know what? I just wasn't a traditional girl. And so I just felt like I'm going to do something that's different than what other people are doing. I'm good with my hands, which, you know, like I like putting bike parts together. Like, you know, when I was a young girl, the bike fell apart, the chain fell off. I was doing that for all the other kids. And, you know, so I just knew that I wouldn't work out as a nurse or a teacher or in the office. But I could work with my hands and I could make a living for my kids. And that's what I did. I was able to support their kids, raise my kids up, you know, and yeah, they're on their phones right now, but they all got jobs. They're all doing good. I think they're embarrassed about me right now. It's what I know. You know, like, I think what happened with my work is everybody goes out for a beer and, you know, then you try to outdo the biggest drinker. And so I just kept upping it, you know, hey, I can compete with them. I can drink this much too. And I mean, I'd been drinking since I was young, but it was never out of control until I started going out with the guys and showing I could drink as much as them, you know. I was stupid. So now I'm drinking as much as them, and it's a bad thing. Sometimes it's good to be strong, but and show how much grit you have. Sometimes it's not.
It sounds like you have an awareness as to where to put that grit and determination you have, and if I may as well, a little bit of a competitive edge. You know, you talked about how, you know, you blaze the trail into a field which wasn't a common field for females to enter into, and you were successful with that. So successful that you were able to secure a job, you were able to raise your children, you were able to put bread and butter on the table. And it sounds like you'd like to be successful, you know, in maintaining that job, in maintaining the ability to independently support yourself. And getting that sobriety is a way of being able to maintain that work that it almost seems like you're pretty proud of.
I am. I worked hard to be in this field and to be, you know, to prove my worth with all those guys and going out and, you know, drinking when I actually didn't want to drink that much, but I wasn't going to let those guys drink, you know, think, oh, I'm a girl, you know, so I'm going to do better than her. I proved it, that I could compete with the best of them. And then now, like, I know some of the guys at work don't drink anymore, and I'm still drinking. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. It's like at the time, it almost sounds like drinking was a way to fit in with the guys who were all drinking. But now you're recognizing there's been a bit of a shift almost in that, may I call it, culture within that workplace dynamic. And it sounds like you want to maintain kind of your place within that culture as well.
I do, like, because there are some guys that are going to keep drinking in there. I'm not like those guys. That's
You
on
don't
me.
want to be like those guys.
Yeah, I don't want to be them. And then the guys that used to drink and go out and now go home to their family, they do other things now, and it's weird. Like, they, you know, they do things in the community. They go play baseball, like, and they don't drink after the baseball game. They go home. And I'm go home. I don't go to baseball. I go and drink. And, you know, like, they've moved on, I guess. And I think if I don't do something, everybody's leaving me in the dust, and I lost my job, and I had to work so hard for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like it just doesn't seem to make sense to you to let all that hard work go to waste.
No.
I'm curious, Roxanne, if we were to look at a scale like of 0 to 10, and we're going to call this a confidence scale, with 0 not feeling very confident at all and 10 being quite confident. I'm curious, on that scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you to start the process of looking at attending AA meetings within the next week or so? Just kind of looking at the process of attending some of those meetings.
I think I could do it.
think you
I
can do it?
feel like I can go.
Yeah.
I mean, I could try, but I don't feel like I can do it. I won't go, but I think I could try. I feel like, I mean, when we first started talking, I didn't feel like that, but I do feel more so now because you know what? I don't want to be like those guys who are still drinking at work. I want to be like the other guys. So I think I could go. And you know what? I bet you some of those guys even go to a meeting.
So you're recognizing that there may be some familiar faces
I
potentially.
wouldn't be surprised. I wonder how they were able to stop drinking because they really had a drinking problem. I mean, I know
Mhm.
I got a drinking problem too, but they really had one, but they don't have one no more. So, and I know, I'll tell you, I heard them say about AA. That's where I got it from.
So they've had success, getting sober, and it kind of sounds like you'd like to have that success too. I'm curious, Roxanne, if you could just share with me a little bit in terms of, you said, I could try, you think you could potentially check this out. And I'm curious if you could just tell me a little bit more about what's giving you that confidence that you could do this.
Because I did work picking hard to get into a field like the men.
Mhm.
And I'm the only girl there. I worked really hard to hold my own weight. I don't have anybody doing my work for me. I do it. And I worked with the best of them. And some of them were pretty messed up with their drinking. And I feel like I could try. I could try. You know what? I, I've been able to get this far.
Mhm. It sounds like, earlier you had said that, you've kind of scaled a lot of walls, right? You've experienced some of these pretty tricky things, right? You didn't just say there were hurdles, you said they were walls that,
Yeah,
kind of been there, done it.
yeah.
There's this sense of grit, there's this sense of, I don't know, almost hearing some tenacity, this woman in front of me that, when you put your mind to it, you just kind of get her done kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of propelling you forward towards this change goal.
I just gotta get her done.
Gotta
And
get
you know what? It might be messy. If I don't want to be like those guys that are still drinking at work,
her.
I don't want to be with that group. We always made fun that they never worked hard. They did stupid stuff with their family. And then there's the other guys and me that have worked really hard. We do a good job. We're dependable. And I'm not, I like, people know that I've been written up. I'm not going to be known as those guys. I want to be with these guys, and I have to do something. I'm going to try something. And you go to a meeting, you go to one, you see what happens, I guess, and I'll just try that one and see what happens. There's social distancing everywhere. Like, I mean, they'd go into the grocery store and social distance. I can social distance in a meeting, I guess, and I'll just try one and see what happens after one. And
It's your starting point.
yeah,
You're recognizing that you've been written up, but you don't want your it's almost like you don't want your work ethic and how, tarnished, in terms of how
yeah,
people view.
yeah, exactly. I am not like them. I am not. I am acting like maybe some of the things I did at work, coming in and drinking and stuff like that, but I can figure this out.
That picture doesn't work for you, right?
No.
Picture doesn't work for you. Uh, is there anything, Roxanne, that would support you in terms of feeling a little bit more confident? Is there anything that you feel that you would need, that would just support you, just in ensuring that you get to that first meeting to check it out?
Um, no, I think I could go to that first meeting. I don't know about the second, but I'll go to the first. I'll try it.
Check
I'll
it out.
try. There's
So,
not as much pressure at the first meeting. There's more pressure at the second meeting. So I'll go to the first.
so what do you see then as your next steps? And, in terms of kind of moving forward to this goal of attending that first AA meeting, what do you see as your next steps?
I gotta figure out where the meeting is, and I'm gonna go to that meeting. And like I'll find out where there is one close by here, and who knows, I might see some people from work, and oh well, if I do, it's not like they don't know I've been drinking. So I'll go to the first meeting. I just don't know about that second, but I'll go to the first one. I'll check it out. I'll find out where it is and go check it out.
So what are your thoughts on where you might be able to find out where that meeting is held?
I'm going to go on to Google because Google tells me all sorts of things.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Roxanne, what would be your thoughts on me potentially checking in with you in a week's time just to have a conversation about how that first meeting was and potentially where you want to go from there?
I think that would be good. I think that would be good. This felt good. So yeah, I would like that.
Right. Well, I'm wondering if you would be okay if I followed a similar procedure to how we set up this meeting, whereby I send you an email in potentially 3 or 4 days time, and we set a time to connect again.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
So my understanding is that you're pretty determined to check out that first AA meeting, that you're going to do a Google search and see where one is held that would be convenient for you to attend, that you're going to check it out and kind of assess kind of how you feel, if it's a good fit for you. And we're just going to connect in a week's time just to see how things did go for you on that first meeting and determine if there's any additional things that you want to explore or any other supports that may be helpful to you.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Thank you for your time today, Roxanne.
Thank you.